Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am bringing you a process video, and this is a 12 by 12 layout where I'm using some mixed media. So I'd actually done a big picture class, and this was one of the layouts that I was doing that was inspired by this big picture class. And I started with some acrylic paint in white and yellow. I think the yellow is called just mid-yellow, kind of like a sunflower yellow is the colour that I went for. And I'm just kind of splatting that onto the page, and then using a palette knife to spread it around the paper. I've left a little white border around the edge of the page as well, just because, I don't know, I didn't want to go all the way to the edge and massively warp the paper. This is just some white 12 by 12 cardstock that I got from the range. So it's actually really thick. I'm sure they've changed it. It's much thicker than normal, which is great. I'm not complaining. And then I'm just adding a few more blobs of white here because I thought that was too bright. It is a really insane and really bright layout. Yeah, much brighter than the one on the class that I saw. And then here I just kind of splatted my palette knife around just to give it a little bit more texture. I do kind of flatten that out again in a second because it was a little bit too textury. So yeah, there I'm just smoothing it out a tiny bit. And then what I'm going to do in a second is add some stamping over the top of this. So I actually come back now that it's dry, and the stamp set that I'm using is a clear stamp set by Hampton Art, which I got from Hobbycraft. So if you're in the UK, you can get these in Hobbycraft. They're still in there. I bought this about a year ago, but I've seen them in there still. It doesn't have a name, this particular stamp set, but it's just a flower stamp set that you can layer up. So you can use a light colour and stamp the whole background and then add the detailed sections over the top, if that makes any sense. I'm not going to do that though. I'm just using two of the detailed flowers to add in an orange colour, which I think is Picked Marmalade, and I'm just using a Distress ink here, so that I can now with a paintbrush just kind of put a little bit of wash of that orange into the flower. So the ink works fine over the top of the dry acrylic. They don't kind of blend together. Obviously once acrylic is dry it doesn't really move, so you can kind of layer stuff on top of it nice and easily. So I've been really getting into mixed media lately. I'm still very much a beginner, and but I'm really enjoying the kind of free-flowing, what's the word I'm looking for? The freeness of layouts when they're using some mixed media. So yeah, I've been really enjoying it, and I thought I would sign up to big picture classes for a couple. Oh, that's the cat. For a couple of shush, Olive. You're so chatty. For a couple of weeks, just so that I could try out some of their mixed media classes, because I don't really know what I'm doing. Stop talking to me. I know you're here. And then I'm using two different colours to mix together with white to make an additional background colour. So I have cerulean blue and Viridin, I think it's called, like a greeny tealy blue colour. She's still meowing. She thinks I'm talking to her. You okay? And now I'm going to add some white here, and you'll notice I did also stamp some leaves onto the page as well. So what I'm going to do now is use this pale blue teal sort of colour to paint around the edges of the flowers. I don't show you all of this because this would be really boring to watch. And I had to lean over it quite a lot, so there was quite a lot of my head in the way, which probably infuriating. So I start off by just literally quite thickly adding this to the outskirts of the flower, just to try and make them stand out a little bit more. And so just painting away. It was a lot darker blue than I had intended, but I still liked it. I think blue and yellow look nice together, and blue and orange are quite nice as well. What are they? Are they complementary colours? Because they're opposite each other, aren't they, on the colour wheel? I don't know. I think so. So I'm just, painting. And once I have kind of added the colour quite thickly, I do just use the dry brush to the side just to blend out the edges a little bit. And what I essentially do is make, yes Olive, I know you're there, is make two kind of corner clusters of flowers and the painted embellishments. Yes. Hello, do you want to get on my lap? Come on then. Ow, yes. Oh dear. Yeah, see, shush Olive, so you can see here that she's distracting me now by purring and rubbing her face on me. Oh, okay. That's it. Yeah, all right. She wants her tummy tickled now. Sorry. Getting so distracted. So once I've added all this colour, as I say, just use a drier brush just to smooth the edges out. And also just run this dry brush over the top of the bumpy sections where I've layered the acrylic quite thickly with the palette knife. There are some kind of raised sections where you can add a touch more of the blue mixture over the top, and it just adds a little bit more interest and brings the colour across the page. So I think it's going to skip ahead in a second to the finish because it was probably getting a bit boring to watch, or nearly the finish. Oh, here we go, I'm just finishing up now, I think. So I'm just adding a tiny bit more to here. So you can just see it's coming together. I can see what it's looking like there, and I think I do cut out some more of this soon. Okay, and here we are. So we're on to the final sort of few minutes of this layout because it was so busy a background. I didn't add that much more detail to it. So I've got my picture and I've raised it up on foam, and I'm using a scrap piece of mixed media paper, and I just ruffled the edges with my scissors to give it a little bit more texture. And then I'm going to stick that down onto the layout, slightly wonky, with double-sided tape. There you go. And then I'm going to choose my title, which I'm going to use these really great sort of puffy, plasticky type stickers that say Live Big, and they're from I think it's a crepe paper, like thickers set. And then I've added one of the little hearts, and I think I'm going to add another heart and some little plus signs from that as well. Yeah, there you go. So I just add those up there. And do I add another heart? Yes, I do. A little teal one. I couldn't believe how well the word big went with this kind of colour scheme. And then I'm also getting one of my Stabilo pens. Don't know what they're called. It's like a fine liner pen, and I'm just writing in an orange. So I picked an orange out so it would draw from the flowers and the bright orange in the Live Big. And I'm just journaling a little bit on here, and then I'm going to add some lines underneath my journaling. This cat is ridiculous. She's like so relaxed now. You can I don't know if you can hear her purr. I'll have to play this back and see. And then I started adding some doodling to this layout as well. So I just added some like spindly things and some little bits of leaves and stuff like that. So I'm just adding more and more of these little doodly sections. They're not great doodles, but I wanted to add a little bit of a darker orange, and over the top of that blue this pen does go quite dark. Then I'm using a Distress ink again here. So this is a Tim Holtz Distress spray ink in white, and I've just splattered that over as well. And then I'm adding some puffy stickers. These are Amy Tangerine puffy stickers. So these puffy stickers and the puffy title letters came in my Turtle Crafts kit in June. And I'm just using those to add some detail and some interest to the layout. And then I'm using another pen. This is just a blue coloured pen to add some little plus signs to the background. And I really think this was a really nice thing to do. It really added a bit of interest to the page. I wasn't expecting it to. I was kind of imagining that I was about to ruin it, but thankfully it went well. Then I got this label out. I stamped and cut tons of these labels a few months ago, and I decided to get out a navy blue one, and I'm just going to tuck this under my picture and under my title slightly. And then I'm going to use a date stamp, I believe. Yep. So I'm going to find a date, which I actually completely stamped the wrong one, and it goes off the edge and it's just a bit of a mess, but I don't care because thankfully the layout is kind of messy enough that it doesn't really matter. I thought it said July, but it said June, and I was like, oh, whatever. In a few years' time, I'm not going to know what month it was, so not the end of the world. So it's stamped on there, and that is the finished layout. It's kind of crazy and bright and pretty. So I'm going to leave you with these stills. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and if you use Mixed Media, link any videos down below. Thanks for watching. Bye.